Have you ever observed how some older adults remain vibrant and mentally sharp while others seem to slow down as they age, especially after 65? As we grow older, society often focuses on slowing down, giving in, and preparing for decline. But what if the reality is different for you? What if there are subtle, often unnoticed signs in your daily life that suggest you're made for longevity? Signs that whisper, you're built for 100. In this video, we're going to explore 8 signs that may indicate you have the strength, habits, and resilience to live a long, healthy life beyond 100. These signs aren't about the obvious physical feats like running marathons or hitting the gym. Instead, they're the quieter indicators that speak to your mindset, rhythm, and overall mental and emotional wiring. Stick with us to discover these signs and learn how you can nurture them to build lasting strength and vitality. These are not just signs of survival, they're signs of thriving, and they might even change how you perceive yourself in a profound way. Let's dive in. Sign 1. A deep sense of comfort in solitude. One of the most unexpected yet powerful signs that you're built for a long, healthy life is how at ease you feel when you're alone. This isn't about feeling lonely, it's about being truly at peace with your own company. If you rarely feel anxious or unsettled when you're by yourself, that's a noteworthy quality. Many people today constantly seek stimulation and avoid stillness because being alone can feel uncomfortable. However, if you've developed an enjoyment of your own company, where silence feels like a comforting companion rather than something unsettling, you're holding a quiet strength that others may lack. This emotional stability is associated with lower stress levels, better heart health, and a more balanced nervous system. It may show in simple ways like enjoying a long walk by yourself, sitting quietly on your porch in the evening without feeling the need to check your phone or watch TV, or finding peace when others around you are complaining about boredom. This is a form of emotional self-sufficiency, which is not just about being introverted, but about feeling whole. Studies have shown that chronic loneliness can deteriorate physical health, accelerate aging, weaken the immune system, and increase the risk of cognitive decline. But the type of solitude we're talking about is different. It's the kind of solitude experienced by someone who has learned to live from within, finding peace in their own presence rather than seeking it from others. When you have reached this stage, you become a calm presence for others. You are not easily drawn into drama or urgency, and you tend to listen more than speak. When you do speak, people are drawn to your words. This centered energy you carry is not only magnetic, but also protective. It shields you from emotional turbulence that can negatively impact your health. What's truly special about this sign is that it develops over time. It's not something you're born with, it's something you grow into. If you're in your 60s, 70s, or even 80s, and you've noticed that solitude no longer rattles you as it once might have, consider that a quiet victory. It means you've built an inner foundation that doesn't rely on constant validation or distraction from the outside world. Many of the longest living individuals, from the blue zones in Okinawa to Sardinia, share this trait. They are content with their routines, spiritually anchored, and emotionally balanced. This inner emotional climate acts like fresh air for your body, nourishing your overall health. So if solitude doesn't frighten you, but instead brings you clarity, rest, and even joy, take it as more than just a personality trait. It's a sign that you've reached a level of inner peace that many people never achieve. More importantly, it's one of the quietest indicators that you're on a path to a long and thriving life. Number 2, waking up naturally without an alarm. An often overlooked but surprisingly powerful sign that you may be built for a long life is waking up naturally without the need for an alarm clock. It may seem insignificant, but this simple habit speaks volumes about the health of your body's internal systems. The strength of your circadian rhythm, or your body's natural clock, is a key indicator of well-being, especially as you age. If at 70 you can wake up with the rising sun without relying on an external device, it suggests that your body and mind are well aligned. This type of natural rhythm isn't a coincidence. It's typically the result of consistent habits, low stress, and an internal balance that you've nurtured over time. People who have stable sleep-wake cycles tend to have better overall health, including improved metabolic function, steady blood pressure, and stronger immune systems. But it's not just about the timing of when you wake up. It's about how you feel when you do. If you wake up alert, clear-headed, and don't need multiple cups of coffee to feel awake, that's a strong indicator that your body is aging gracefully. While we all have the occasional restless night, if you generally find that you are in sync with the natural rhythms of the day, sleeping when it's dark and waking with the light, that's nature's way of signaling that your internal systems are still working properly. You're not fighting against your biology, you're in harmony with it. This is a trait I've noticed in older friends who are still thriving well into their 90s. They wake up early not because they have to, but because their bodies are naturally ready to start the day. They don't rely on alarms. Instead, they wake up, stretch, enjoy a simple breakfast, and gently ease into the day with a rhythm that many younger people would envy. The deeper truth here is that when your body no longer needs to be jolted awake, it means your sleep is doing its job. It's restorative and healing. Consistent, quality sleep like this helps repair cells, balance hormones, and even clear waste from the brain. Waking up without an alarm is not just a matter of discipline, it's a reflection of your internal harmony. It shows that your lifestyle is aligned with your biology and you're still in tune with the natural world around you, a quality shared by many centenarians across the globe. So, if you're someone who wakes up before the alarm or haven't needed one in years, take it as a sign that your body's telling you it's still in rhythm and operating as it was designed to. And that, my friend, is a beautiful thing. If you're still following along and finding these insights valuable, drop a number 2 in the comments below to let me know you're with me. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to do so and turn on the bell so you never miss out on new videos. Your support helps us keep creating content to inform and inspire you. Now let's continue. Number 3, forgetting the small stuff, remembering the big lessons. At first, it might seem worrying when you forget small details, like why you walked into a room or where you left your keys. But when this is balanced by a strong memory for life's bigger lessons, core values, relationships, and key insights, it can actually signal that your brain is aging in a healthy way. The brain doesn't forget everything equally. It prioritizes what truly matters. As we age, something remarkable happens. The brain begins to let go of trivial information and short-term clutter, creating space to hold on to more important things. This isn't a failure, it's an upgrade. It means your mind is shifting its focus from details to depth, from minutia to wisdom. If you sometimes forget a name but can still vividly recall your father's lessons on patience or the way your spouse looked at you on your wedding day, that's something to celebrate. What you're retaining is not just memory, but meaning, and meaning is what keeps the brain engaged and alive. As we age, a certain clarity emerges. We stop stressing over the little things because our brains have learned what's worth holding on to. You might forget the details of a TV show you watched last night, but remember with ease the birth of your grandchild or a significant lesson learned during a challenging time. Research on aging and memory supports the idea that this selective memory is not only normal, but protective. People who retain emotionally and morally significant memories, despite becoming forgetful about names or daily tasks, tend to experience lower levels of anxiety, depression, and cognitive decline. You may also find yourself becoming better at seeing the bigger picture, less reactive, more forgiving, and more reflective. This is not just a result of aging, it's wisdom. It comes from decades of learning what matters, what endures, and what fades with time. How many of us in our 20s could have a conversation about what truly brings peace or how to navigate grief? But you can now, and even if you occasionally forget a word, what you offer in return is a perspective that younger people simply don't have. So if you occasionally forget where you left your glasses but still know exactly how to calm a child, lift someone's spirits with a few kind words, or remind a friend of their worth, trust that your mind is still sharp where it counts. These deeper kinds of memory not only help you connect with others, but also maintain your own sense of identity, keeping it strong and resilient. A long life isn't measured by how many birthdays you've celebrated, but by the amount of meaning you've carried along the way. If your memory has become more selective, focused more on curating the important moments than collecting trivial details, it's a sign of personal growth and wisdom. It's not just a sign of who you are, but of how far you've come and how much longer your story may still unfold. Number 4, complaining less than people half your age. You might not consider it a big deal, but if you've noticed that you're complaining less these days, less about minor aches, less about the world, and less about the small annoyances of life, this could be revealing something significant about your overall well-being. A calm, low-stress attitude isn't just pleasant to be around, it's a powerful, often overlooked indicator of longevity. Numerous studies have shown that chronic stress has a serious impact on the body, particularly as we age. It raises blood pressure, weakens the immune system, causes inflammation in the joints, and accelerates the aging process on a cellular level. But when someone learns to release what they can't control, to shrug off frustrations and smile instead of stewing and snapping, their body responds by being healthier and more resilient. If you've mastered the art of taking things in stride, saying things like "it is what it is," and genuinely meaning it, that's not giving up. It's the result of years or even decades of learning what truly deserves your attention and energy. You've probably noticed it yourself. While others complain about the weather, traffic, or how things used to be, you might find yourself thinking, life's still pretty good. This mindset is rare and incredibly healing because negativity wears the body down. It tightens your muscles, disrupts your breathing, interferes with your sleep, and steals your joy. But true peace has the opposite effect. It calms the body, supports heart health, improves digestion, and even helps repair damaged cells. Interestingly, this kind of perspective isn't something you're necessarily born with. Many of the oldest and healthiest adults have been through significant challenges, such as loss, illness, or hardship. Yet they've emerged with a broader, wiser outlook on life. They've learned what truly matters and what doesn't, and have seen enough to realize that most of the things people stress about are simply not worth the emotional investment. I recall speaking to an 83-year-old man named Harold, who had experienced the loss of his wife, siblings, and much of his hearing. Yet every morning he would sit outside with his coffee, nod at the sky, and say, "Another good day." That attitude wasn't denial, it was discipline. It was the habit of choosing to see the good and holding on to it as a lifeline. This doesn't mean you never experience sadness or frustration. You're human after all. But if you find that those emotions don't overwhelm your life, if you're quicker to laugh than to complain, and if you've learned how to let things slide off your back, that's not just a temporary mood, it's a survival strategy, one that contributes to longevity in ways that many don't realize. So if people often describe you as easygoing, thank you for your calming presence, or mention that you make situations feel lighter, take that as a sign that you've cultivated an emotional environment that's healthy both for you and those around you. And long after others have been worn down by every little frustration, you'll still be moving forward, steady and light. If you found these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're still with me. And if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Your support helps us keep creating content that informs and inspires you. Now let's continue. Number 5, slower steps, but more mindful movement. If you've noticed that your pace has slowed over the years, it doesn't necessarily signal decline. In fact, a slower pace coupled with more deliberate and mindful movements can actually be a strong indication that your body and mind are working together to preserve balance, control, and safety. Let's be clear, speed is often overrated, especially in later years. Rushing leads to accidents and falls. But when a person walks with awareness, knowing exactly where their feet are, how their weight shifts, and how to move through space calmly, it often means they've developed a form of intuitive self-preservation. This is not something to overlook. When I see someone in their 70s or 80s taking the stairs slowly but steadily, using the handrail, not out of frailty but because of wisdom, what I see is not weakness but wisdom in motion. This type of bodily awareness goes beyond the physical. It's deeply neurological. It shows that the brain is still effectively communicating with the body, and the body is listening. This mindful movement isn't only about walking, it's about the way you rise from a chair, how you reach for something on a high shelf, and how you navigate through crowded spaces. Quick, reactive movements may feel youthful, but they can be risky. What really protects you as you age is purposeful movement. Movement guided by experience rather than impulse. Those who move with intention tend to avoid injury, maintain their independence longer, and live fuller lives because they are not sidelined by preventable setbacks. A single fall can drastically change the course of life, but the oldest, most resilient people often have few major incidents to their name. A big reason for this is how they move. Mindful movement also reflects mental clarity. When your mind is clear, your movements follow suit. You're less likely to make sudden, careless mistakes, and more likely to judge distances accurately and act with precision. This reflects a strong connection between your brain, senses, and muscles, a network that helps protect your longevity. There's also a deeper aspect to this. Many long-lived individuals cultivate rituals around movement, whether it's a daily walk at the same time, gentle morning stretches, or even Tai Chi in the park. These aren't vanity-driven workouts. They are practices of awareness, moments to connect with the body, breathe deeply, and move with intention. So if your steps have become more measured, if your posture is upright, if your hands move with purpose and your eyes are scanning the path ahead, you're not slowing down. You're adapting with wisdom. You're choosing presence over speed. This isn't just a way to avoid injury, it's a way to preserve energy for the future. In a world that often associates slowness with weakness, I'll tell you this. Slowness, when paired with control, is one of the most powerful things you can carry. If you're moving through life with calm, thoughtful steps, don't second guess it. This isn't just a habit, it's a life-extending art form. Number 6, outliving the doctors who once treated you. It might sound a bit unusual to say, but if you've realized that some of the doctors who once cared for you, like your primary care physician, your cardiologist, or even a surgeon who operated on you years ago, have passed away while you're still here, that's not just a coincidence, it's resilience. Outliving your doctors may seem like an odd marker of longevity, but it's an important one. It's not about bragging rights or keeping score, but it's something worth acknowledging. To still be here, still living, still laughing, and still learning while the professionals who helped you along the way have moved on says a lot. It speaks to the fact that your body, your habits, your lifestyle choices, and perhaps even your genetics are working in harmony to keep you going strong. Longevity doesn't come from just one thing. It's usually a combination of factors. Maybe you've had solid nutrition for many years, staying active in small, consistent ways, like gardening, walking, doing daily chores, and staying engaged with life. Maybe you never smoked, or you quit long ago. Whatever the case, something within you has been keeping you strong and resilient. I once met a woman named Carol who was 84 years old. She joked that she'd seen more doctors than shoes and had outlived most of them. But behind that humor was a deeper truth. Carol still had her wits, her independence, and her warmth. She still read the newspaper every morning and could name all her great-grandkids. She told me simply, "I just never stopped living." That mindset, that attitude is key. People who live long often do so because they remain engaged with life. They don't withdraw or start seeing themselves as old in a way that isolates them. They continue to show up, care, and participate, and this energy, emotional, mental, and spiritual, often contributes just as much to longevity as any medication. Outliving your doctors also speaks to timing. Many people who pass away early have faced chronic health issues, genetic predispositions, or overwhelming stress that took its toll. But if you're in your 70s or 80s and still waking up each day with your own routine and purpose, it's a sign you've been living sustainably. It doesn't mean you haven't faced health scares. Most people in their 90s have had at least one major medical event. But the key is recovery. The long-lived people tend to bounce back, their bodies and minds knowing how to heal. Their internal recovery system works like an invisible set of repair mechanisms, regulating blood sugar, blood pressure, and keeping everything moving smoothly. Sometimes it's not just about biology, it's also about belief. It's about waking up each day and deciding to keep going, even when your body aches or when the days feel slow. It's staying curious about the world, asking questions, picking up new hobbies, learning how to use a new phone, or showing up for others. This kind of engagement, this spark, often makes the difference between those who simply survive and those who thrive. So if you've realized that the doctor who delivered your grandkids or the one who treated your back pain 20 years ago is no longer around, but you're still cooking dinner, laughing at your favorite TV shows, and fixing things around the house, that's not just a sign of time passing. It's your body telling the world, I'm still here. I've still got work to do. Number 7, eating simply and stopping before you're full. If you've naturally developed the habit of eating just enough, stopping before you're stuffed and choosing simple, wholesome meals over rich, heavy ones, you may be tapping into one of the most reliable longevity patterns observed in various cultures around the world. This isn't merely about the food itself. It's about tuning into your instincts, especially as you age. When your approach to eating becomes wiser with time, it's something to take note of. Many people mistakenly believe that living a long life requires a perfect diet, precise calorie intake, or the latest superfoods or trendy supplements. However, when researchers study the eating habits of people who live past 100, what stands out isn't what they include in their diet, but rather what they avoid. These individuals don't overeat. They don't obsess over every morsel. Instead, they eat until they feel satisfied and then stop. If you found that large portions no longer appeal to you, or that you now prefer lighter, simpler meals, that's not just a change in taste. It's your body learning to listen to its needs. This kind of instinctive eating is a rare and valuable gift, especially in a world where food often serves as a response to emotion, distraction, or routine. Intuitive eating benefits you in several ways, operating behind the scenes. It supports better digestion, helps maintain stable blood sugar, reduces inflammation, and over time protects your heart, brain, and immune system. To put it simply, your body functions better when it isn't constantly working overtime to process food it doesn't need or want. Take the Okinawa region, one of the world's most well-known blue zones, for example. Their residents follow the principle of hara hachibu, meaning they stop eating when they're about 80% full. This mild restraint, practiced consistently at every meal, gives the body the opportunity to rest, recover, and thrive. Perhaps you've experienced this shift without consciously trying. Maybe you used to go for seconds but now find one plate enough. Maybe rich desserts don't tempt you like they once did, or you feel more content with simple foods like fresh fruit, a warm bowl of soup, or a cup of tea. This isn't about a loss of appetite, but rather about gaining awareness. If you find yourself savoring each bite, chewing slowly, and truly enjoying your food without rushing through it, these habits aren't just pleasant, they are profoundly beneficial. They activate your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode, which promotes healing, reduces stress, and encourages healthy aging. I've witnessed this pattern in many people who live long lives. They don't eat to fill a void or escape. They eat to nourish their bodies. And they often do so in peaceful, mindful settings, sitting at the table, not in front of the TV. So if you find that food has become simpler, gentler, and more balanced in your life, don't view this change as just a result of aging. Embrace it as wisdom. Your body is naturally finding a rhythm that prioritizes health. And even though this rhythm may seem quiet and subtle, it's one of the most powerful signs that you're built to last. Number 8, finding joy in routine, not just novelty. In a culture that celebrates newness, new places, new gadgets, new experiences, it's easy to believe that living a fulfilling life requires constant variety. However, here's something quietly remarkable. People who live long, healthy lives often don't chase after novelty. Instead, they find profound joy in the comfort of their daily routines. If you've come to appreciate the consistency of your habits over time, don't see that as stagnation. See it as strength. There's a soothing rhythm in doing familiar things day in and day out, whether it's watering your plants in the morning, taking a peaceful walk after lunch, or listening to your favorite radio station while preparing dinner. These are not just signs of aging. They are stabilizers. Your nervous system understands this. Routine helps regulate your internal clock, which leads to better sleep and more efficient digestion. It reduces anxiety by introducing predictability into your life. Most importantly, it frees up mental energy to focus on what truly matters: connection, reflection, and gratitude. And I remember speaking with Edward, an 87-year-old man who had eaten the same simple breakfast for over 30 years. He didn't find it boring. Instead, he saw it as one less decision to worry about. "It gives me room to think about the important stuff," he told me with a smile. That ability to move through the day without being pulled in 100 different directions is one of the greatest benefits of aging well. You may have noticed that you feel more at peace when your days are structured. Perhaps you look forward to certain rituals: a morning stretch, an afternoon coffee, reading the paper, or calling a friend before bed. These aren't just preferences. They're signs that your mind and body have created a steady, safe space where you can truly thrive. What's fascinating is that routine doesn't equate to a shrinking world. In fact, for many people, it actually means their inner world is expanding. By grounding yourself in familiar actions, you free up mental space to appreciate small, simple joys. The way sunlight filters through the window at noon, the rhythm of your breathing, or the comfort of your favorite chair. These little moments, though small, accumulate to create a deeply meaningful life. This doesn't mean you don't enjoy adventure or surprises, but if you've learned that true peace often comes not from chasing new experiences, but from honoring the things that already bring you joy, your habits, your pace, your way of moving through the world, then that's a beautiful thing. People who live to 100 often have routines that seem almost sacred. They eat meals at the same time every day, walk the same paths, and interact with the same people in familiar ways. In this repetition, they don't find boredom, they find a sense of belonging. So if your days feel comfortable and your rhythms feel right, and you no longer feel the need to constantly reinvent your schedule to feel alive, this isn't a sign of slowing down. As we wrap up this video, take a quiet moment to reflect on what you've just heard. Maybe one of these signs resonated with you, perhaps a few surprised you. But if you're 65, 70, or 85 years old and recognizing these patterns in your own life, hear this clearly: you are doing better than you think. These signs aren't loud, they don't come with applause, but they are powerful. They point to a kind of longevity that isn't built in hospitals or health clubs, but in the everyday choices that shape who we become. You don't need to be running marathons or chasing monumental goals to be on the path toward a long life. Sometimes the strongest signs of resilience are the quietest. How you breathe through stress, how you eat with awareness, how you move with care, and how you continue to find beauty in the ordinary. That's what matters. So what stood out to you the most? Which of these signs do you recognize in yourself, or which would you like to cultivate moving forward? Sometimes simply acknowledging a strength you didn't know you had can change the way you approach each day. This video isn't just about predicting your future. It's about honoring your present. It's about recognizing the ways your body and spirit have adapted, persevered, and endured. And if even one part of you feels more hopeful, grounded, or confident because of what we talked about today, then that alone is worth everything. Thank you for being with us today. We'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below and share one thing you've learned today and how you plan to apply it in your life. Your thoughts matter to us, and reading your comments gives us motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating content that informs and inspires you. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.